Ladies, I highly recommend that you pursue strength as one of your main health goals. Now, I know I talk about fat loss and weight loss all the time because obviously, as a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer who works mainly with women, of course, this is what most women want when they come to me, right? And I don't blame you, you're not wrong for wanting that. However, I encourage you to focus more on building muscle and gaining strength than you're focusing on fat loss and maybe having too much belly fat and feeling bad when you maybe eat too much or feeling like you're not doing enough, or you know what I mean? Let me give you an example of how this mindset shift can really help. Because first of all, you're not going to turn into someone super bulky. That just doesn't happen. As someone who's been lifting heavy weights for years and trying to bulk up, trust me, we don't just get bulky like that. We don't have enough testosterone for that to happen. So put that out of your mind. Also, think about like a really awesome, healthy, ideal physique where a woman is like fit and toned. Think about it. Think about someone you know or someone you've seen, right? And you're like, man, she's so toned, like everything looks nice and tight and good, and that's what we want, right? That's muscle. You don't get that from running. Not that there's anything wrong with running, but think about it. When you go to the gym, where do you see the fittest people? They're not the ones on the treadmills usually, right? They're not the ones on the cardio machines usually, right? The ones that are the most toned are the ones that are picking up the weights. Am I right? So let me talk to you about this mindset shift because this happens to me too. So let me use my own self as an example. Okay, so I'm in my progesterone phase right now. You guys know I do cycle syncing, right? So that's where you align your nutrition and your workouts with your menstrual cycle and your hormonal phases throughout the month. So progesterone is that week before your period. It's the week when we are the most hungry. You're growing the lining of your endometrium, so you need a little more calories. It's when we crave carbs. We're probably the most irritable that week, right? In progesterone week. So anyway, I had a pretty intense leg day the other day, and I worked on quads. And for me, my quads always get super hungry after a leg workout. Like when I do legs, oh man, my appetite goes way up in the days after. And I know that about myself. So I had a good leg day. The next day, I was just so hungry. And now I track my macros. I've been tracking my macros. I think is overall a helpful tool. I don't use it to beat myself up over, but just to know, like when I'm in my low carb phases, it just kind of helps me maintain that. So I'm not over or underestimating something. So I meet my protein goals. I use macros first. I think it's the free version, I think it's really helpful. Anyway, so I track my macros and I am way over in everything. I'm over. Yesterday I ate so much. I had lunch and then I had a second lunch because I was so hungry. I just wasn't done. And then I had dinner and then I had a second dinner. Like sometimes that happens after leg day. I was just so hungry. And so I was tracking everything, putting it in my macros app to see where I was at, and I was just so over. I mean, fat was over, carbs were over, everything. And I was like, damn it, Abby, it was that second sandwich you had. Because it was like I had my first lunch, with chicken and fruit, and it was satisfying, right? It was filling, plenty of protein, but I was just so hungry that I immediately proceeded to go and make a sandwich, a ham and cheese and onion sandwich, which was delicious and satisfying and cheesy. But it put me way over the edge of what my macros were by the end of the day when I ate the normal, kind of the rest of the normal amount I would have eaten. And I was like, damn it was that freaking sandwich. And then I started beating myself up over it, right? Because that's what we do. I'm like, well, now here we go downhill, right? And then I had to stop myself, just so you know, I have these human moments too. I had to stop myself because I was like, okay, first of all, let's get some perspective, right? What phase are we in? Progesterone. Okay, so already caloric needs are going to be higher during progesterone than other phases of the month because we're growing the lining of our endometrium. All right, so I'm hungrier to begin with. I just had a pretty heavy duty leg day where I focused on quads, and I know my quads get hungry, right? So I probably burned a lot, and I was listening to my body that it needed more fuel. right? And so I just wanted to share with you because that helped me so much, because it made me shift from an attitude of wanting to punish myself, because that's our first go-to, isn't it, ladies? I think it is, right? Like, I ate too much, damn it, I'm going to punish myself, I'm going to eat less today. I'm going to work out harder and I'm going to eat less because I ate too much yesterday, right? We kind of just naturally default into that. I don't know why we all do it, but we do, right? Do we not? And so I was able to shift from an attitude of that was wrong for me listening to my own body. It was wrong, and now I'm gonna punish myself to make up for it because some app told me that I overdid it, versus having perspective of knowing where I'm at in my cycle, knowing my needs, understanding that when I work out harder, I need to eat more. When I'm at certain phases of my cycle, I need more nourishment and more leeway with myself. And that I'm also more prone to feeling emotional about things, right? We're more prone to get upset or feel emotional and progesterone that week before our period. And so just giving myself some grace, and also, and I want to make a point here too, is that there's so much awesome tech out there. Yes, I use bioimpedance scales and, a Fitbit to track my steps, and, an app to track my macros, and another app to track my cycle. And I think it's all very helpful to have that data. However, at the end of the day, it's not just because some algorithm or some app or some program said that you did something wrong that means you did something wrong. And my point there is, your body has wisdom. You have intuition, your body has wisdom, and that's always going to be stronger than some algorithm or some app. And sometimes we just need to remember that and take that into account. So when I shifted my thinking and also reminded myself that I'm eating to fuel my workouts and to fuel my body and to build beautiful muscle, and because I had a heavier workout and a leg day and focused on quads, that I needed more calories to make up for that, I stopped beating myself up. Because when you're focusing on strength, you don't have to worry about every last little calorie. But the beauty of it is, muscle burns calories even at rest. The more muscle you have, the more you can eat, and you won't gain fat when you eat more and you have a lot of muscle, because muscles are hungry and they will burn it, and they help you look nice and toned and fit and tight, which is what we all want, right? So build that muscle mass. Focus on strength, because when you're beating yourself up over every last little bit of fat or calorie, that's just not the way to have success, right? So I want you to think about, my focus is being strong, and I'm eating to fuel my body. And yes, I might use metrics to track, my cycle or my macros, macronutrients like protein, fats, carbs, or, a wearable or something like that. And that is okay. But at the end of the day, no one knows your body better than you do. No one has more intuition or a feeling of what's right for your body than you. So trust that and listen to that. And that mindset shift in itself just makes a huge difference.